The European Union marks another step forward in its disagreement with Washington over Trump's peace plan. The bloc is now moving towards seizing Russian assets despite rising tension on the issue. NTD international correspondent David Reves reports from Paris.
The European Parliament adopted a new resolution on Thursday urging the EU to take stronger leadership in efforts to secure peace in Ukraine. The resolution warns that recent ambivalence in US policy toward Ukraine risks undermining long-term peace efforts. This echoes remarks from several EU leaders who claimed this week that the Trump peace plan leans toward Russia. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt rejected that idea on Tuesday, calling it a fallacy. While the EU and Ukraine broadly agree on the US peace plan, EU officials said there are several points they want to see changed. But according to Benoît Paré, a former investigator for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, these points make all the difference.
These 3 points are that Ukraine should not be prevented from joining NATO, that Ukraine should not be prevented for having a reduction of its oil. Ukraine should not be proposed to reduce its military in size. And third point, that Ukraine should not be obliged to make any territorial concessions. Now, these are 3 key points in the Russian reasons to go to war. So, obviously, if Ukraine sticks to these 3 points, there will never be a peace agreement. As simple as that.
The European Commission is also pushing a legal plan to tap up to $250 billion in frozen Russian central bank assets to fund Ukraine's defense and economy, despite Belgium's continued resistance, as the company holding the assets is based there. Ursula von der Leyen insisted that EU taxpayers should not shoulder the cost alone and called the so-called reparations loan the only realistic option, even as Belgium warns of major legal, financial and geopolitical risks for Brussels. According to Paré, the EU shows every sign that it will continue its financial support to Ukraine regardless of what happens next.
We may have at some point America, the USA, stopping any military aid to Ukraine. But the Europeans have demonstrated that they are willing to help Ukraine as much as they can, so it can go on for a while longer, God knows how long. And apparently the Europeans set no limits. The only limit is how much money they can find, but it's another problem because there's so much money was given already. You wonder where European governments are going to find more money to help Ukraine, because we are talking about huge sum of money, like dozens of billions of euros a year.
According to several experts, including Paré, the US peace plan may be one of Ukraine's last chances, as the country could otherwise face a long-term scenario of negotiated surrender. David Vives, NTD News, Paris.